Okay, welcome back to Legends of Evil, where I talk about the villains outside of the comic book genre. And today I'm going to be talking about a villain who recently passed on. And I decided to give him a nice little spotlight, and that villain is Toffee. Now, Toffee is an interesting character because I feel like he had such great potential throughout the first and second season, and then it all kind of fell apart, didn't it? I don't know, if you liked where Toffee's story went, that's totally fine. No ill will against you. But me personally, and several other people will agree, yeah, I feel like they really dropped the ball on this, guys. I really feel like they dropped the ball towards the end of it all, towards the end of his storyline. But let's go back and talk about who Toffee is according to the book. Now, Toffee's race is called Septarian. Septarians are a race of lizard-like beings that also another creature by the name of Rastakor is a part of. And they are a race of immortal reptilian-like beings who can regenerate from even the smallest wound. Well, the smallest little finger. Although, Toffee once had this power until he was cursed by Queen Moon, who removed his finger during a spell casting. During a spell she learned from Eclipsa, was hit with it, and now had to, live with it. Now, Toffee's he also was a general in the monster army at the time, and he was also best known for slaying Moon's mother. He killed her in a fight, and this had been something never done before. This had been something in Muni's history that had never been accomplished. He had never, he was the first ever to kill a Mumin queen. Because with the power of the wand and Muni's magic at their side, the Mumins were like the friggin' Lannisters. They were like, no opposing force could stop them. And to have Toffee be the first to kill a Mumin queen in its history was completely demoralizing. It was very demoralizing. Although, I will venture a guess, and I am considering doing a video on Eclipsa, not so much a Legends of Evil segment, but more of a, a theory video on Eclipsa, talking about that when Eclipsa said that she lost her mother at a young age, I'm convinced she killed her mom. I'm convinced Eclipsa killed her own mom. But, I digress. Getting back to Toffee. But yes, Toffee was a general in that army. He was only known as the Lizard, but after he lost his finger to the spell Moon casted on him, most of his healing factor had apparently been weakened, and he went about getting it back. Now, here's the problem I have with it, is that the whole point was just him getting his finger back. That was the whole point of casting the spell. Now, I have a few problems. Also, if you're wondering where I knew all this other knowledge, it all came from a official novel that it came out right after the end of Season 2. But anyway, let's talk a bit about a few things. Here's where we have a problem. Really? He just wanted his finger back? That was the whole point? All of this, and it feels weird. And I'm going to, sound really strange. This is the part where I get really strange. Because I want to note a plot hole here. That being is that how did Toffee know about the spells? How did Toffee know about, the whispering spell? How did he know about, the spell? Because that's a family secret. And last I checked, Toffee ain't part of that family. Although, I will admit that, the fan theory that Toffee was like as my friend Alex said, he's like the evil Jon Snow of the... It was always kind of... a lot of fan theories was that he was a son of Eclipsa. I was going for that theory too, that he was like the black sheep of the butterfly family, and he wanted to take the throne. And honestly, that would have made a lot more sense. Wanting to take control of the throne, and also, a lot of the stuff he says, he has a lot of hatred towards the Munin people, because you get very early from the sense onward, at the beginning of it, of the series, is that Toffee is... There is something happened to him. Something very much happened to him, because he always has this voice of resentment towards them. He always has this voice of resentment towards the Munin people. So there's always this kind of there's always this kind of thought of, well, maybe he was, as a kid, was traumatized by them? But no, it's just that he's a general that went rogue. And he wanted his finger back. That's all. Now, Toffee was this brilliant strategist. He was basically 10 steps ahead of everybody. But at the end of the day, it all kind of felt for naught because, yeah, he got vaporized by Star. He basically got finished. Shao Kahn basically told Star, finish him! And finish him. Well, Ludo finished him off, but yeah, he got turned into black goo. Another thing that kind of always confused me about Toffee, now looking back on it, is if he didn't really care much for magic, then how did he know so much about, the wand, and knowing what he would do would corrupt corrupt the wand and give him power, and also, how would he know that he would have a mental connection through the wand shard, and, in turn, have a influence over Ludo? That kind of made me go, what? And I don't mean to shit on Toffee. I think Toffee was a really cool villain. I just feel like, he was just a little too big for, for the show. And also, I'm pretty convinced that Michael C. Hall was pretty expensive. I am venturing a guess that Toffee's voice actor, Michael C. Hall, was pretty friggin' expensive. Oh, but however, thanks to some videos I've seen of Michael C. Hall doing a few covers of David Bowie songs, I now have the headcanon that Toffee loves listening to David Bowie in his spare time. Like, just him lying on his bed listening to the man who sold the world. Oh, man. I could buy it, and you could probably buy the fact that Toffee could be a fan of Ziggy Stardust. Anyway, but getting back on track, and this is going to sound really weird, but I would have, even though I don't ship them, I would have bought the whole past relationship between Moon and Toffee. I would have bought that because that would have made sense of how he knew about all the magic from the wand, how to, know the ins and outs of the wand. That would have made a lot of sense. And also, that kind of resentment he has towards the humans would kind of make sense if he was, like, I don't know, a slave in the court and Moon took pity on him until he rose up. That would have made a lot of sense. But like I said, it kind of felt flat when it was just like, I just want my finger back and then I'm just going to go on my merry way. Bye, everybody. And then get vaporized by Star. And then get crushed by Ludo. Ludo, of all people. But I digress. Among other things Toffee was known for, according to the book, is that he was an interdimensional terrorist. The dude had laid siege to multiple universes throughout the multiverse. I can buy that. The dude's terrifying, so I can buy that the dude, that Toffee had been like an interdimensional terrorist for a while. But regardless, and again, I don't ship Moon and Toffee, but if you gave that explanation of like, oh, that's, oh, so that makes sense. Why he has resentment, because maybe... And I know I'm making total BS here, but hear me out. Basically, if you had Moon and Toffee as a couple in the past, that would have made a lot of sense of showing that Toffee had such resentment towards the human people because of, that xenophobia they have towards monsters. Moon would have to have chosen between her people and her love, and that would have really spurred him even further. That would have also made sense, like I said earlier, of how much he knew about the wand. As it stands, it just seems like he just knew. Now, for all we know, we could possibly get the sense that maybe in Season 3 it'll be revealed that that Toffee, much like Moon, went to Eclipsa to go to go figure things out. Maybe that's a case. But as it stands, it just feels like that just came out of nowhere, didn't it? But however, despite all that, despite the endgame being lackluster, Toffee was a great villain, smooth talking, able to manipulate everybody. He was the chess master, and he almost executed a plan that would have made Cersei Lannister and Grand Admiral Thrawn go, "You're good." Anyway, so there you go, guys. Those are my thoughts on Toffee. But what do you guys think of Toffee? Do you guys like him? Do you guys hate him? And what do you guys think? How do you think they should have handled his endgame? Just comment below, let me know. And once again, hope you all enjoyed this. And I'm really interested to see what you guys have to say. And I'm out.